Sit. Sit. There we go. Hang on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Leav'em here, bringing you another Team Fortress 2 commentary, this time on Tf2 with the Scout. This isn't a live commentary, as all the other ones are. This one's more of a post-commentary, because I wanted to talk to you about a certain little subject about bringing us new weapons for the Team Fortress 2, classes. Now, these are going to go down in order from the Scout up to the Spy. I want to get through them all. I don't have too many ideas. These are just general consensus ideas that I've been talking over with one of my friends about. And some of these are promotional items, and some of these are just like brand new ideas. So to start things off, let's start with the Scout. Now, I think the Scout has a pretty decent array of weapons. The original Scouter gun, as you can clearly see that I'm using right now, is very good. It does a great deal of damage when up close. It has 6 bullets with pretty decent scatter, so it can cause more damage to multiple enemies. But the weapon that I want to talk to you about right now is the Soda Popper. I think the Soda Popper should go back to the way it was. Now hear me out before you guys start judging me about this. I think it should go back to the way it was, but still retain some of the new qualities that it has right now. Like, it should charge up the more you run, but after you're charged up enough, it shouldn't release automatically to give you mini crits. You should have the choice whether or not you actually release it or not by pressing the right click button. It should have that soft little purplish glow to let people know so the thing isn't too bright so it doesn't annoy anybody. And I think the Soda Popper effect should go onto another scatter gun. It just seems a bit weird having the Soda Popper carry around a Criticola on the bottom of it just so you can have some extra jumps. That makes no sense to me. It feels very awkward, so whenever I use it, I always get confused whether or not I should actually be using it. That's just personal preference. I think that should happen, but others will not agree with me. Hands down, there will be people disagreeing with me, pretty much. Because I've seen lots of people say that the Soda Popper is so much better, and it works great for them now. But I still feel like the Soda Popper should be with mini crits, because the Scout can do so much more damage if he does. But that's just personal preference. Other than that, the only other thing I can think of for as a secondary will be a festive type of milk, and that could be turning it into like an eggnog of sorts, but that's not all too clever, as it's just plain Maybe it'll happen in the next Christmas or Smithmas event, who knows. Moving on now to the Soldier. Now, with the Soldier, this is more of a promotional item. I was thinking with the Source 2 engine coming out soon, we all know what's coming next. Left 4 Dead 3, Half-Life 3, a bunch of new stuff coming from Valve. So I think when that type of stuff comes down, I would like to see the Soldier get a promotional Half-Life 2 or Half-Life 1 or whatever Half-Life it is, the remote rocket launcher, which allows you to directly aim the rocket that you fire to any location as long as you're aiming in that specific spot. So if you're aiming up to the sky and fire it and then start aiming the cruiser down toward the ground, the rocket will fire towards the ground. This is the best thing I can think of, as it is one of the most unique ideas for the Soldier. However, the downsides could be a bit much for what I'm going to say, but this is my personal preference to kind of even it out. I think the best thing that it should do is it should cause more damage to buildings, and you shouldn't be able to rocket jump. You should have one rocket inside of it at a time, and you should not be able to rocket jump with it. It would just feel really weird being able to rocket jump with just one rocket, because then you'll need to reload or you'll need to switch to God knows whatever, and that could take so much time. So that's my best idea for the Soldier. A remote guided rocket launcher could come in so many uses, but depending on how you use it. Because I've seen people be able to use the map very well as a Soldier, or as any class in general. So if they know how to aim well, they can pretty much figure out how to get to any of the current locations that they're standing at with just one well-guided rocket. Other than that, there's not much I can think of other than a different type of buff banner. I think the best type of thing that it could actually do is a replenish ammo type of thing, where if you deal enough damage or take enough damage, you can actually blow the horn, and instead of gaining speed and gaining health depending on how much damage you do, you will in fact regain ammo for the amount of time. And that would be probably the best idea for it, like if you're teaming up with a heavy or a pyro or something like that, since they could be out there without any type of ammo or dispenser, so it would just seem so much easier to get that going for them. Moving on to the pyro, this one people are going to argue with me hands down. I think that the pyro should get a cryomancer set, aka ice or snow or whatever you guys think of that's actually like a cold type of thing. Now hear me out as I say this. I think the flamethrower should turn into a snowblower as a new weapon, and instead of causing afterburn damage, it can slow down the enemies drastically over time to the point where they're frozen solid in just a solid state. And they will thaw over time, and if anybody like brings over a flamethrower, they will instantly melt, type of thing. But you have to keep the snowblower on the opposing opponent for a set amount of time in order for something like that to happen. Now you will know if they're getting slowed down or not, because it could actually show like little snow pieces on the opponent, like make it look like they're frostbitten or something like that. I keep saying something like that, but anyways. It probably will be like the most game-changing thing for the pyro, because if you think about it, scouts are annoying. They could easily just freeze them solid and cause them so much annoyance back for what they can do originally. And it will just be an overall cool little thing, because we got all these new snow items in the last Christmas event, and the pyro now has like a little snow mask, a snow suit, and everything. Got a little ski thing on the back of it as a backpack. So it will be really cool to see a new type of pyro. And instead of it being a pyromancer, it'll be a cryomancer type of thing. Okay. That's pretty much all I can think of. Other than that, I think of a new type of axe be like an ice pickaxe, and it will do more damage to people that are frozen. Because if they are completely frozen, you could easily just whack at them with a crack and cause them to crack and break down. That's my best guess for new weapons for the pyro. I know it's very limited ideas. It's like 1 or 2 ideas at most for the people, but bear with me. This is the best I can think of, and I hope people understand them. Now, moving on to the Demo Man. The Demo Man could have a remote detonated normal grenade launcher. Like, just swap the effects of the sticky bomb launcher to the grenades for them to bounce around, and then you can detonate them remotely. And then for the sticky bomb launcher, we get a new one that instead of sticking to the ground, instead of sticking to the floor, it will stick to human players as well. And if it ever did stick to a human player, it will cause many crits, guaranteed. But at a slower rate of fire, and it does less damage to sentries and everything. And then the grenade launcher itself that actually has the remote detonated grenades could actually be doing more damage to sentries and buildings and all that junk. So just kind of swap the two around. And for another type of sword, I can't really think of much, but I was thinking of bringing in like more promotional items. I can't really say much, but I was thinking of something as of, I don't know, Devil May Cry. I think either the Red Queen from Nero or from Devil May Cry 4, or even Dante's blade could be pretty cool actually. And every time you kill somebody, instead of blood, you see those little red spheres, or red orbs is what they call them, pop out of them. I think that would be pretty cool, but that's just my personal opinion. Moving on to heavy, the best thing I can think of is another promotional item from Half-Life. This one is going to be a bit awkward. I think this one should be everybody knows the alien machine gun that can fire like a giant bolt that can eradicate enemies in one shot. I think you could just increase the size of it and make it kind of look kind of more bulky, and instead of you charging down with right click, you charge down with left click and it will fire automatically, and if you do right click, it will launch the ball out. People are going to hate me for saying that, I know, but it's the best thing I can think of. Other than that, sorry about that. There could be other types of sandwiches or other stuff like that, but I can't think of anything like that. So that'll be up to you guys. Moving on to the engineer. I think the engineer could build bodysuits. But instead of it being directly right off the bat, I think the bodysuits should have 600 metal put into it, and then anybody who wants to come up to it can right click on it and it'll be form fitted to them, and they can do more damage depending on what they're doing. Medic isn't really much I can think of. I think he could get the promotional item again from Half-Life 2, the crossbow, but instead of it being able to heal, it could deal headshots and zoom in. That's the best thing I can think of. Other than that, I think that could go to the sniper as well, so it could be a promotional item for both those two. The sniper needs more bows. A compound bow would be super awesome, be able to zoom in easier, get cleaner headshots, and if it does get a headshot, it guarantees one crit for the next, for like 5 seconds or something like that. That's the best thing I can think of. And then for the spy, there really isn't much. I think he has enough as it is. That's just my personal list. I wanted to thank you all for actually listening to this list. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys later. Ciao.